What is up, everybody? RandomRandomMan here, bringing you my review for Snowden. Now, the plot basically follows our title character, Edward Snowden, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, a computer professional who, in June of 2013, leaked classified information from the NSA to The Guardian, as the film also follows the last 10 years of his life prior to 2013 in what led up to him leaking all of that info. Going into this movie, I was pretty excited because not only was the creative team involved in making this movie just outstanding, but because of the subject matter too. Edward Snowden is a guy I knew relatively little about going into this film. Of course, I know who he is and what he is famous for even doing, or infamous depending on who you are, but I wanted to see how he will be portrayed in a narrative sense. With the performances, Joseph Gordon-Levitt portrays our lead character with fantastic charisma. I truly believed he was Edward Snowden, and he delved himself into this role with a lot of tenacity. In fact, the real-life Edward Snowden makes an appearance towards the end of this movie, and the resemblance between him and Gordon-Levitt is uncanny. Even with his voice. In the trailers for this movie, I thought he was doing a bad Ashton Kutcher impression at first, but that quickly was forgotten about in how great Gordon-Levitt was in this movie. Also doing an excellent job is Shailene Woodley as the girlfriend to Edward Snowden, Lindsay Mills. I think this is among one of the best performances she's ever given. She has impeccable chemistry with Gordon-Levitt throughout this movie, and I found myself really enjoying the moments that these two characters shared with each other, as I found them to be some of my favorite moments in the movie. With our supporting cast, we have a bevy of notable players in this movie. We have Melissa Leo, Zachary Quinto, and Tom Wilkinson as the three journalists interviewing Snowden throughout this movie to that event that took place in June 2013 of Snowden leaking all of that information. We also have Rhys Ifans as a mentor type character to Snowden. We have Timothy Olyphant as a CIA agent. Even Nicolas Cage, of all people, shows up for a bit in this movie as another mentor-like character. Basically, everyone in this movie does an outstanding job. The writing in this movie, much like the main character this movie centers around, is very intriguing. There is a lot of insight stuffed into this movie that made me just gripped to watch what would happen next. Essentially, we're just watching Snowden throughout the last 10 years of his life prior to 2013 in how he became a worker for the NSA and what led him to do the actions that he did 3 years ago. I actually found myself quite shocked and disgusted at times in this movie while being fascinated in what was being revealed to us in the eyes of Snowden, in how the government is really monitoring all of our devices. It really made me think twice now in covering up any camera that is on any device I own. Technically speaking, the movie very much approaches itself in a traditional manner like many biopics do. It is very well shot and very slick looking as well. Now, it kind of reminded me a bit of The Theory of Everything, another outstanding biopic, and how it went about its approach in portraying its subjects. And while I was really invested with this film as I was with The Theory of Everything, the difference is that The Theory of Everything, to me, felt more well-paced, that it ran at about 2 hours. Snowden runs at about 2 hours and 15 minutes or so, and I felt the running time shine through towards the end, as I felt a little bit of it could have been cut out to be more coherent, as there was a lot just to take in. Even with all this information packed into this movie, I still wanted to see what happens next. Now, with those three journalist characters that I mentioned earlier, they in real life are actually the journalists who made the Oscar-winning documentary Citizen4. Now, I haven't seen that documentary prior to seeing this movie, but I am more interested in Edward Snowden now to even go watch that documentary. And I can see why people would find a lot of things in this movie that are presented to be repetitive if they've seen that documentary before. Again, I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming a lot of the same ground covered in that film is covered in this biopic. But with the approach that director Oliver Stone took with this movie, he also portrayed Snowden in a very clear light. This director really wanted to show that Snowden, in his mind, is a hero, but there are definitely others who think that he is a traitor, whistleblower, what have you. Snowden is a very controversial figure. Overall, I found myself really enjoying this movie because of the character study it presented itself with its title character. Yeah, I could have cut a couple moments here and there. Some stuff I didn't fully understand with technical jargon, but then again, not everyone is going to understand everything in this movie unless they're well versed in what the movie is talking about. But I would say that this film is well worth watching for the incredible performances, the on-point writing, and the direction brought to us by director Oliver Stone. Is this one of his best movies? No, not by a long shot. This is the same guy who years ago made Platoon, JFK. He's already an excellent director with a nice track record, but what he does with this modern story that happened relatively recently, he presented it in a very nice light that I think anyone should see given how relevant the topic is today. I definitely recommend this film. My final verdict for Snowden is 4 out of 5 stars. Thank you all, as always, for watching. Be sure to like this video, comment on what you thought of Snowden, subscribe to my channel for more, and I'll catch you on the next movie review.